For my final project, I will be focusing on the contemporary version of Cinderella, the film Another Cinderella Story. The tale Cinderella has many psychological meanings. In Jungian terms, the girl must go through persecution and humiliation in order to go through a path of healing and find autonomy. Her true nature and beauty are eventually revealed at the end. At the end of the tale, the girl becomes a heroine and finds a female principal that helps her do so. In a Freudian context, there is a family romance in Oedipal complex. There is a struggle between the daughter and her stepmother and stepsisters for the affections of her father. In Perrault's version of Cinderella, the traits veiled are modesty, grace, wit, dancing beauty, and others of the sort. Perrault focuses on the motif that good nature is better than beauty. Grimm's version, on the other hand, focuses on retaliation and retribution. The gender issues that this tale focuses on is the shrewd and practical girl persevering and winning a share of power. The girl herself is coming up with a plan to gain a share in power. The visual I would be talking about, which is the film Another Cinderella Story, is based mostly on Perrault's version, but it is a very modernized and not very romanticized version. This version of Cinderella is not focused on marriage and bride tests. It's more about a young girl finding herself and growing up, ready to leave an unhealthy household to fulfill her dreams of becoming a dancer just as her mom was. The creator does not focus on the romantic factors of this tale very much due to the fact that it takes place in a high school with high school students. Though it does have very many romantic parts, it does not solely focus on this. The environment plays a really big part in the change of this tale because it does focus in a high school setting. And due to the time that this film was made, which was the early 2000s, it was very rare for people to get married that young. So there are no bride tests, and the ball is a high school dance, so it is not a bride show. Girls aren't taking turns to dance with the prince in hopes that he will fall in love with them, and the prince is not looking to marry. A lot of the main aspects that are in Perrault's version do take place in this film, just in a way that relates more to the culture of its time. For example, the prince himself is a teen pop star. The glass slipper, it is an MP3 player. The fairy godmother is Mary, who is the Cinderella of this story. It's her best friend, and the carriage is a van. And as said before, the ball is a high school masquerade dance. The tone of this film is very comedic. The stepsisters and stepmother are very unintelligent and aren't at all taken seriously. They are seen as a joke. The stepmom is a failed pop star who is getting old and losing her fame. There's a character named The Funk. He is the best friend and sidekick of Joey, who is the prince in this film. He is very comedic. He throws a lot of jokes out throughout the movie, and that's really all he is there for. Though it has a very humorous tone, it also has a very subversive tone. There's a character named Natalia. She's the popular girl, or as they would call the it girl of the high school. The one that you would think the Prince Joey would fall in love with, as it is like the popular girl and the popular guy. But that's not really how it is. Everyone kind of turns away from Natalia. They really actually start turning towards the outcast, Mary, our Cinderella, which is not really the norm for a society like that. This film does not really counteract any part of the story. It kind of follows the original plot and line of events. It really relates to Perrault's version without the bride part. We see, due to the young nature of the characters, that the bride part and the marriage part and the love part isn't really a big deal in this film. This film still follows the girl becoming a heroine and finding identity. At the end of the film, Mary wins her share of power herself, just as in the original plot. One thing this film does change is the beauty aspect. Beauty in this film isn't about outside beauty. It's about the ability to dance. It focuses a lot on dance. This is primarily how Mary and Joey connect. It's through dancing. This is a very modernized version of Perrault's version of Cinderella that really follows the original dynamic and steps and plotline of Cinderella.